Deep in the heart of a thick, whispering forest, where towering trees stretched their branches towards the sky and sunlight danced through the leaves, there lived a humble woodcutter with his wife and two children, Hansel and Gretel. The family was poor, struggling to find enough food each day, but the children were happy, playing among the trees, chasing butterflies, and listening to the songs of birds. One evening, as the stars blinked in the sky, Hansel and Gretel overheard their stepmother talking to their father in hushed tones. The woman was worried that there was not enough food for all of them and suggested they leave the children deep in the woods so they could fend for themselves. The father hesitated, his heart heavy, but his wife's words weighed on him. Hansel, being clever, whispered to Gretel that they must find a way to return home if they were abandoned. As the night stretched on, Hansel crept outside and filled his pockets with small white pebbles that gleamed under the moonlight. The next morning, their stepmother led them deep into the forest. Hansel secretly dropped pebbles along the way. When night fell and they were left alone, the moonlight revealed the path of pebbles, guiding them safely back home. Their father was relieved, but the stepmother was not pleased. A few days later, she tried again. This time, Hansel had no pebbles, so he used breadcrumbs instead. But as they wandered back, they found the breadcrumbs gone. Birds had eaten them. Lost and alone, they wandered deeper into the forest, their stomachs empty and their feet tired. They walked for hours, their small hands grasping each other tightly. The trees grew taller and denser, blocking the sunlight, and strange sounds echoed in the distance. A rustling in the bushes made them jump, but when they turned, it was only a small rabbit watching them with curious eyes. The deeper they went, the more the forest seemed alive, whispering secrets carried by the wind. Just when they thought all hope was lost, they saw a house in the distance. It was unlike any house they had ever seen. The walls were made of gingerbread, the roof covered in icing, and the windows shimmered with sugar. The sweet scent filled the air, making their mouths water. Cautiously, they approached, breaking off small pieces to eat. As they savored the delicious treats, the door creaked open, revealing an old woman with kind eyes and a warm smile. She invited them inside, offering them soft beds and warm food. Grateful, they followed her in, unaware of the danger that awaited them. The next morning, Hansel woke up to find himself locked in a cage. The old woman was not kind at all. She was a wicked witch who lured children to her home to eat them. She forced Gretel to work, ordering her to cook and clean while she fattened Hansel for her feast. Days passed, and the witch checked Hansel's finger every day to see if he was plump enough to eat. But Hansel, using his wits, held out a small bone he had found instead. The witch, whose eyesight was poor, thought Hansel was still too thin. One day, growing impatient, the witch decided she would not wait any longer. She ordered Gretel to heat the oven. As Gretel stood before the fire, an idea sparked in her mind. Pretending not to understand, she asked the witch to show her how to check if the oven was hot enough. Annoyed, the witch bent over to demonstrate. In that instant, Gretel pushed her inside and slammed the door shut. Flames roared, and the witch was gone. Hansel and Gretel searched the house and found treasures hidden within gold, jewels, and silver. Gathering what they could, they ran from the house, guided by their instincts and the hope of finding their way home. After days of wandering, they finally saw a familiar path. Their father stood outside their cottage, tears in his eyes as he saw them. He embraced them tightly, relieved and overjoyed. Their stepmother was gone, and they were finally safe. With the riches they had found, they never went hungry again. But more importantly, they learned that trusting their instincts, using their wits, and staying brave could lead them through even the darkest of times. The forest still whispered its secrets, but now, it also carried the tale of two children who outsmarted evil and found their way home. The days that followed were filled with warmth and laughter. Hansel and Gretel helped their father repair their home, and soon, their small cottage became a place of comfort once more. They never forgot their journey, nor the lessons they had learned. They would often tell the tale to travelers who passed through, warning them of the dangers that lurked beyond the trees. One afternoon, as Hansel and Gretel sat by the river, Gretel noticed a peculiar flower growing along the bank. It shimmered under the sunlight, and when she touched it, a feeling of warmth spread through her fingers. The forest was full of mysteries, and they realized that their adventure had been only the beginning. As the seasons changed, they grew wiser and stronger, always listening to the whisper of the wind, the rustling of the leaves, and the call of their instincts, for they knew that deep in the heart of the forest, stories were still waiting to be discovered.